Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another installment of my Scrapping Saturdays series. And this is week 13 of that. And then I am also participating in satmornmakes, and you can follow along with all of the creators and designers there by using the hashtag satmornmakes. And it is hosted by Jillian Norwood, and I will link her channel down below as well. Be sure to check all of them out. There's some great projects there. And today I am doing a 2-page layout, and I needed some inspiration today for a layout, and this will probably be the last layout utilizing the Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Life in Bloom collection. And for this layout, I did kind of scroll Pinterest to see if I could find an idea that I liked. And I did come across a sketch, and I will definitely attach that link below, as well as a picture of the original sketch at the end of the video. And this sketch I found on scrapbook.com. and it's their sketches project ideas. So without any further ado, let's get started. So I need to cut this piece at the diagonal, and if you've watched my past videos, you saw that I really struggled with that on I believe it was a Halloween video, and I had a really good friend reach out and give me a suggestion on how to do that better or easier. And so I'm gonna try that today. And I've got it's basically a quilting ruler, which I do have in my stash, and then a rotary cutter. And I should be able to go right along and cut this paper at the diagonal, because none of my paper trimmers are long enough for that. And you know, I think I hand cut it with scissors last time. So we're gonna give this a whirl and see how that works out. Huh. And so much easier. So if anyone ever has any suggestions or tips for me, I am very open to them. And thank you very much, Sue, for that suggestion. That worked so slick. So now I have my 12 by 12 paper cut at the diagonal perfectly. And I believe for this layout, I actually am going to need to do that again. All right, let me get this pile of goodies out of the way. What I've got on the table is basically what I believe I'm going to use in this layout. Like I said, I'm going off of a sketch, but if you know me well, you know that I veer off of that rather easily. All right, so we're going to cut this piece at the diagonal as well. And now I just need to kind of take a peek at how I want to do that. It's going to be a 2-page spread, and I think I'm going to go like that. And the reason I'm looking at it so closely is because there is some typeset on the paper, and I want to make sure not to put that upside down. So I want to go like that. And we're going to just pull that ruler in here again. This is a handy little tool to have in here. It's not that often that you actually end up cutting a piece of paper at the diagonal, but boy, if you need to, this does work very slick. I hope you all are enjoying this beautiful spring Saturday before Easter. I got right up and actually crafting in my pajamas yet this morning. Sun is shining. The neighbor kids are out playing already. It's gonna be a beautiful day, beautiful Easter weekend here in Montana. Okay, so now I've got my 2 pieces, both cut at the diagonal. And now I just need a piece of paper to mount them on. So I'm gonna grab either a white or a black. It's not really gonna matter because it's not gonna show. You know, these 2 pieces are gonna cover it. So I'm gonna grab that real quick. All right, so here are my base page. And I am literally just going to line those up. Let's see. Yep. Again, just making sure those words are going the right direction. And we're just going to attach that. And I am just going to use my Creative Memories tape runner for that. Okay, so there's the start of our base pages. And then I did just grab several pieces from the collection that I thought would coordinate really well. And I also just grabbed some of the scraps that I had from previous layouts. So we've got lots of bright, vibrant spring colors, which I thought was fitting the day before Easter to kind of just have some really bright spring colors. Okay, so what I want next is kind of a grounding piece in the background. And I can't decide if we want to have this kind of blue floral or the butterfly. And I feel like maybe the blue floral might be, one's going to sit on top of the other either way. So I feel like the blue makes a little bit better of a backdrop up against the stripes here, and then helps the butterflies pop just a little bit better. So then what's going to happen is I'm going to have my 3x4 photo mats, which my mats actually measure 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 to fit a 3x4 photo. We're going to have 3 of those going across here, and then we'll do that on the other page as well. They're basically going to match, only the base paper behind is going to be flipped. But other than that, they will be identical. So I've got 6 of the mats ready to go. So we're going to place those on top of there. So if those are 4 1/4, we are going to cut this butterfly paper in half to start. We may end up trimming it down just a touch, but for now, I'd rather start big than cut it too small. So we'll go 6. And I don't want this to be the full length, and our photo mats take up 9 3/4. So I think I'm just going to cut 1 inch off of that so that we've got a 1/2 inch border on both sides of it. We'll start with that, and we may end up trimming a little more off if that's not quite enough. And I'm going to do the exact same with the blue. or the teal. Okay. And then that piece is going to sit on there like that. And the butterfly piece, I actually cut the wrong piece, but that's going to work out okay. And I think we're just going to end up cutting, let's cut 2 more inches off of that and see if that's enough. I'm leaning towards 3, but again, I don't want to trim it too short to begin with. Actually, I think that's perfect. We're going to leave that just like that. And then let's take a peek at this again. We're going to run those photo mats right along there. Something like that. And then I also pulled out the border punch again. I'm not sure. The sketch shows a solid scallop, and for the border punch, I don't have one. I do have one that I could trace and use, but it's a lot bigger scallop, and I don't think I want to use that one. So for the border punch that I actually have, it has some dots punched out of it as well. So I do have a scrap piece of the one we want to use, and we'll just test that out and see if this paper is going to work as well. Actually, I fibbed. I don't have a scratch piece of the one that I want to use because I am wanting to use the back side of this one. I think. Let's take a look at it on here. Yeah, let's go ahead and punch a border out of there. Now to use that, again, you flip this side up, it's magnetic, flip that bottom tray up, get that tight in there, put your magnet down to hold your paper in place, and then you flip that bottom side back under, and then you just find the little connections in the base and punch as you go along. And don't push too hard. You can push that paper all the way through there and then it'll end up a little bit crooked, but that, I don't know if you can see that very well. That is the effect you get. That's beautiful. Okay, and all of the little crumbs. Now you could save all those little dots and use them in a shaker and have some really pretty shaker pieces ready to go. Okay, so I'm just going to try and preview this a little bit and see how much of a border we actually want to have. And I'm going to just run that directly behind this little floral piece as well. And I actually think that we just want to keep it fairly small. Yep. So we're just going to need enough to attach that to the bottom of that piece. So I'm not really even measuring. I'm just kind of, I'm going to give us plenty of space to be able to adhere that. All right, so now we just want to repeat that process because we're going to do that on the other page. Okay, now we just need to cut the pieces, the other base pieces for this side, to match this side for the other side. So we're gonna go ahead. Actually, I'm gonna backtrack just a little bit. The next step on this page, once I get this page done, then I will do the other side. So we're going to need to trim that. And this again measures 11. So we're going to want to cut 1 inch off of here. And 1 inch off of this one. All right, and then you may have noticed I have all this other colored paper in here, and we're going to run a few little tags underneath of here. So we need to just determine how wide we want the tags to be, and we want it to stay within this 11-inch space. So I think we're actually going to duplicate the size of the photo mats. Now, the photo mats are 3 1/4, but I think the tags we're going to go 3. So let's try one at 3 with this scratch piece that we have here. And we're going to go 3 wide. And so we just need to make this into a tag. And I have a tag punch, but it's not quite big enough to do that one. So an easy way to do that, at least this is how I've done it in the past, is to, we're going to go up the full height of the ruler. So I'm going to line the ruler up with the bottom. Get it down here where I can see it. And we're going to mark it at the 1 1/2. And we're just going to cut on the lines once I get them drawn. So that makes a pretty, let's take a peek at where that's going to land, or if I need to shorten the tail of that tag a little bit. I actually think it wouldn't be too bad if it was shortened. So I'm going to go up 1/4 inch. And I'm going to repeat that process using my Tim Holtz ruler for that, and I'm just lining the bottom up here. I'm going to mark it at that 1 1/2 again. And then I'm going to draw my lines. I'm going to set this under here. Yeah, I think that that's going to be a better flag bottom. So let's go ahead and cut one and take a peek at that. And then we will actually repeat this process on a couple different pieces of paper, and we're going to make 6 tags. So let's turn that over, and we're going to run the tags along the bottom here. And I think that that's actually a good size. And because, let's see how far we're running that under there. I might be able to cut this in half and use the other half. I'm not sure if there's enough or not. Basically need to run it right up into there. Yeah, I should be able to use both ends of that. Nope, not quite. Not quite long enough. That's all right. We've got more scraps here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and repeat that. I can either measure each one like I did this one or use this one as a template. And I'm going to make 2 of this color, 2 of the purple, and 2 of the yellow. Or I may decide to do all different colors all the way across instead of 2 of each color. We may pull a yellow, pull the flip side of a blue, actually pull a pink, a green, and then the purple and teal. So I'll go ahead and do that real quick. We'll get those all cut out. And I'll also recut a duplicate of this and a duplicate of this for the other side. Okay, we're ready to start assembling our pages now. I inked all the edges, and I don't know if you noticed while I was inking, I didn't ink all the way across the top of this one because we're actually going to be covering some of that with a butterfly. So, you know, you don't need to spend extra time doing that. And then I also, while doing my tags, I don't know if you caught that, I inked all the way around the first tag, and then I was like, oh wait, they're going to be tucked underneath there. So I ended up not inking as far on the rest of them. So definitely think about that when you're inking so you don't waste a lot of time inking stuff that isn't going to show, and so it doesn't necessarily need to be inked. So this is about what it's going to look like, and I want to kind of see what color tags I want to put on what page, you know, what order we want to do those tags in. So let's kind of tentatively lay all of this out and see how it looks, and then we can decide which pages, because the bottoms of our pages are different. You know, we're gonna want, you know, we're not necessarily gonna want to put the pink on pink over there. We're gonna want to have the pink over here. So that is one thing you want to think about. And I feel like this is like too much over here, but it goes better over here because of all of the color you have underneath of it. So let's see, I like the yellow over here on the pink. And I want to separate these 2 greens because they are so different. I don't think they look great together, but I do think we can pull them off by separating them along the bottoms of the pages here. And actually, I think this particular layout looks pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and attach all of this down, and then we can put our photo mats in place. And then we can do some of the embellishing together. So this page is going together rather quickly. I think the first part I'm going to put together though is this border. And to do that, I am just going to use my tape runner, and I'm going to use it pretty close to the cut edge. And I want to keep all those together because I do like the way those are laid out. And you know me, once I pull things apart, I tend to mess with them and not get them put together again the same way. So to do this, I'm going to line the scallop up on my mat, and then I am going to line this piece of paper up 2 lines up so that I can get both of these borders put on with the same distance and straight, hopefully, on both pages. So we're going to line them up top to bottom. That looks actually pretty darn good. And that made that simplified that. That made that really easy to attach that border to that piece. So we're just going to go ahead and do that again with this one. And I just ran the tape close to that cut edge so that I don't end up down in that border area that's actually going to show. And we're going to line that up on one of the lines, doesn't matter which one. Get it good and straight. And then we're going to line this up 2 lines further in. And that looks good as well. Now again, double check your paper. There is some typing on there. Not that it's probably going to show, but I did get both of them set the right way. I didn't actually think about it before I started, but I was lucky. And they were on correctly. Okay, so now I'm going to just take one page at a time. I'm going to set that one aside. And we're going to determine how far down we want to go with that. And do we want all the flakes to be even? Do we want them to be varied in height? And I'm gonna opt for maybe the outer 2 being the same, and then this one just a tad shorter. And I kind of actually really like right where it's lined up. So let's take, I actually usually eyeball all of this stuff. I don't usually measure, but we are 2.5 inches down. So let's go ahead and run some tape across the top of that. And I'm not going to run it across the bottom because we're going to want to slide those tags in there. So we're going to leave room for that. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to take our photo mats and we're going to lay them out. And now all we have left to do is a little bit of embellishing. But before we do that, I am going to take some, nope, I'm going to wait. So I did want to run this across there for sure. That was one plan that I had. And then in the drawing, there was a tag, but it was sticking up above here. And I didn't leave enough room to be able to do that. And that's okay. We're going to just You know, when I follow a sketch, I don't always follow it exactly. So I think we're gonna just do without that tag. On the sketch, this piece didn't go up nearly as high as I've got it. It was a little bit shorter, but I kind of like the height of the butterflies. I really, really love the butterflies. So we're gonna leave that be. And I'm gonna see like maybe what tags I do have, like in the pre-cut tags, and just take a peek at what it would look like with one of those. So this is just left over from one of the previous layouts. I love this camera. I think I've mentioned that before. Let's see, can't quite, a lot of papers blending together. Let's separate those a little bit. You know, we could add a tag, something along that lines, but let's see if we have another one as well, because we're going to want to use at least 2 of them, one on each page, I think. Not that it has to match. Finally, the embellishing was a bit of a challenge for me today. I don't know why. Some days are like that, but overall, I'm very happy with the way this layout turned out. It'll hold 6 3x4 photos. It's beautiful. It's got lots of color. The butterflies, which speak to me, the pink polka dots also. I really am loving the way that this ended up turning out, and you know, there's a couple good spots for journaling as well, because you definitely want to capture all of those moments and those memories and document them. So thank you so much for sticking with me to the end, and be sure to check out all of the other contributors to satmornmakes. Just search the hashtag satmornmakes and it will bring up all of the other contributors to this open collaboration. And thank you again for following along with my Scrappin' Saturday series. Again, this was week 13. I'm definitely enjoying this. This is the end of the Simple Vintage Life in Bloom. If you haven't picked yours up yet, be sure to check out my website. I do have all the products linked below, plus everything else that's available is on the website. And we'll be moving on to a new collection next Saturday. I hope you all enjoy this beautiful spring weather today, and that you have a very happy and blessed Easter. Thank you so much. Bye for now.